Entonces este es un video así como flash. Entonces a continuación verán unos videos en los que al parecer nos estarían confirmando arrestos y condenas por todo el planeta de mucha gente muy famosa del cabal o estado profundo. Esta información es muy sensible, muy fuerte. En estos videos, entre otras, mencionan a personalidades políticas como Hillary Clinton y sus hijas, Barack Obama y su esposa Michelle Obama, George Bush y Tony Blair y otros políticos, directores de agencias de inteligencia, Bill Gates, gente de los medios masivos de comunicación, actores y actrices, Tom Hanks entre ellos, artistas de la música como Madonna, y verán un video bastante extraño que subió quien al parecer sí es el hijo de Tom Hanks. Hay que tener en cuenta que la estrategia de usar dobles y o clones, copias, para personalidades, pues desde hace rato viene siendo usada esta estrategia. Entonces, miremos los videos y les recomiendo que activen los subtítulos en inglés que YouTube genera en automático. Y nos vemos en el próximo videoprograma. Chao, chao, chao.
Former US President George Bush and his former counterpart Tony Blair were found guilty of war crimes by the Kuala Lumpur War Crimes Tribunal, which held a 4-day hearing in Malaysia. The 5-panel tribunal unanimously decided that Bush and Blair committed genocide and crimes against peace and humanity when they invaded Iraq in 2003 in blatant violation of international law. The judges ruled that war against Iraq by both the former heads of states was a flagrant abuse of law and an act of aggression which amounted to a mass murder of the Iraqi people.
Bush and Blair are found guilty under the same law that applied to the Nazis after the end of World War II. They are international criminals guilty of Nuremberg crimes against peace, and they should be prosecuted by any state in the world that gets a hold of them. And we will continue our efforts to bring Bush and Blair to justice and put them in jail.
In their verdict, the judges said that the United States, under the leadership of Bush, forged documents to claim that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. They further said the findings of the tribunal be made available to members of the Rome Statute and the names of Bush and Blair be entered into a war crimes register.
There is also a recommendation that this be circulated to states, because all states have universal jurisdiction. And therefore, whenever Bush or Blair appear within their shores, there is an obligation under international law to commit these criminals, international war criminals, through the justice system.
Both Bush and Blair have repeatedly said the so-called war against terror was targeted at terrorists. Lawyers and human rights workers who are present here today say that the verdict by the tribunal is a landmark decision, and the Kuala Lumpur War Crimes Tribunal say that they would persuade and lobby with the International Criminal Court to charge former US President George Bush and former British Prime Minister Tony Blair for war crimes charges. Maheshwari Ramakrishnan, Press TV, Kuala Lumpur.
Arrests and executions of famous people. This was posted by Mary O'Connor, and it says the list of the first 81 celebrities who have been arrested or executed. We present to you the list of the 81 names of famous political actors, singers who served the deep state, but many of them have been arrested and have already been executed. We have told you in previous articles, but also in videos, that many of those who committed horrific crimes against humanity will be arrested. Of course, many of you thought we were writing and saying inaccuracies by spreading false news. Because this issue with the arrest is serious, and we know that there is a war against Trump by the systemic media, which have taken a lot of money to intimidate the world with issues such as COVID-19, vaccines, fines, and all the negatives, now to keep the world in a negative. We also take care to give you the right information. Today, Thursday, June 4th, 2020, in slaughter, we publish a long list of 81 names of celebrities, some of whom have been arrested and others have been executed. This is because you need to know exactly what is going on and understand who is insulting your intelligence and attempting to make a fool out of you. Already many in the world have been exposed to their big lies, such as politicians, journalists, actors, and others, trying to convince us of a virus that kills, about how necessary vaccines and other such nonsense are, which turned out to be a big lie. Of course, in all this mockery of the mockeries, they have mixed the President of the United States, Donald Trump, who of course has been fighting the deep state for 3 years. And on the occasion of the corona, he started arresting all those who have committed crimes against humanity. As we told you, the COVID-19 was a cover for the mass arrests. The lockdowns are made so that there is no unnecessary traffic on the streets and the work of the international police is facilitated. As we previously reported, the COVID-19 virus was the cover for the mass arrests. The lockdowns are made so that there is no unnecessary traffic on the streets and the work of the international police is facilitated. The arrests are being made by special police teams in plain clothes. We saw the arrest of Obama. The arrest was made simply and quickly so as not to be noticed by the public. All these arrests were made in this way. If convicted of child trafficking, pedophilia, or crimes against humanity, he/she will be executed. If convicted, they will be executed. Before the trial, if the person has proof of someone else who was involved in this diabolical business or is willing to work with Trump and snitch, he or she agrees to a certain stipulation on analog videotape and signed on a contract in order for a possible life sentence. They are allowed to work with President Trump if they have verifiable evidence and live behind bars until they die. When a negotiation is completed, the defendant must present what he has to mitigate his sentence. This information is provided to the prosecution, the defense, and the judge. If accepted, the plea agreement is presented, and then they must make a written statement and admit guilt for the crime with a video confession and a written statement. This is how all processes work. All the people arrested were traitors or involved in satanic worship ceremonies, which involved torturing children and then killing them as a sacrifice. Then they drank their blood, which contained adrenochrome. These are called crimes against humanity and demand death as punishment. Trump has signed an executive order calling for the death penalty for these involved in crimes against humanity or treason to be brought to justice and sentenced to death. And this is how the betrayal is characterized. If the detainees took orders from the deep state and carried out those orders, this is called betrayal. Obama said, "I just followed orders." Yes, that made him a traitor. He made a deal and was allowed to live for a while to help Trump. But in the process, he violated the waiver agreement and was ordered to appear before the judge. He was sentenced to death. Obama was executed by shooting in the back of the head. Big Mike, formerly known as Michelle Obama, was executed shortly afterwards. The general public will find out next year when all this will be released. Obama, of course, also betrayed Big Mike to make a deal. All those arrested made a confessional video to negotiate, even if it was a mere death by lethal injection, instead of being shot by a group or hanged. Deadly injections are the preferred way to die. You just sleep and don't wake up. It is painless and peaceful. Big Mike chose the lethal injection. The people who have already been executed have human body doubles used as stand-ins or artificial intelligence AI clones, which are used as good replacements to make people believe that their idol is still alive. This means that people who are not awake yet will not be angry or upset or start rioting against the government again for having someone they loved executed. Due to the television and local newspapers covering this up, celebrities such as Madonna or Tom the Hangman Hanks, or have the general public get so upset that they have to go to the hospital. Many will not be able to accept that they have been lied to throughout their entire lives about who their favorite star really was. Believe it or not, there are many Democrats out there who still love Obama and Michelle. Michelle was recently on PBS reading books to children, and Obama appeared with her as well. These are videos made with CGI. They are fake. Both are dead. Even on Greek channels, we saw a commercial with statements by Rita Wilson, who commented on the alleged death of George Floyd. The CGI. If you watch a video of a person arrested and executed on television, this is done using the CGI, which is a computer-generated imagery method. That is, with image production technology using a computer. If the person makes a personal appearance, it will be a body double or a clone. Mike Pence, the one who you've seen lately on television with Trump, is a clone. Mike Pence was arrested long after the coup against Paul Ryan. If the mainstream news media has announced that a person has died of COVID-19, they will not have a body double or a clone in real life because people will officially know that he or she has died. Harvey Weinstein was said to have died of COVID-19. John McCain was executed and his daughter admitted it. The arrest of Hillary Clinton. It says Hillary Rodham Clinton died the day she spoke at the 9/11 event and crashed into the SUV after she was told she was under arrest. Hillary was rushed to her daughter's house because Chelsea had a medical facility for Hillary. A body double came out of residence 2 hours later and said, "I'm okay." At this medical facility at Hillary's daughter's home, Chelsea used adrenochrome to rejuvenate Hillary, having a special medical lab there to extract it from babies and blood. Her body was transported to Greenland and put on ice, cryogenics. Hillary was then thawed, her soul spiritually removed to ensure it did not go back to the demonic forces. It was put on trial in a special court and sentenced to death by hanging. All this is recorded by analog video. Also, all video confessions were made in analog video. The satanic world and the secret bases and tunnels on Earth, by the way, Guantanamo Bay, Gitmo, prisons are full, which is why there is currently construction going on there. Some of these arrested are under house arrest or in Gitmo, Guantanamo Bay, which is in Cuba. Litigation is still ongoing and a possible better conviction is being negotiated. Bill Gates, for example, will not be able to negotiate a more favorable sentence due to the worldwide crimes against humanity that he has committed and implemented. Bill Gates will go for execution. There are many who have been arrested and are not on this list because they were simply not famous enough. Thousands of arrests have been made. Special covert military forces, which President Trump has created, continue to make more arrests worldwide. We do not give you dates for arrests or executions because we simply do not have that information. Most of these people have been charged with crimes against humanity, and some have been accused of treason. Some were charged with both. This article was conveniently erased from my device in the middle of translating this. If my source sends me another, I'll complete this article. This was translated from a Greek electronic periodical. I've already posted 2 videos from this article. The deep state knows who I am as well. M7.
Hey guys, I'm really stressed out right now. It's been coming to my attention that a lot of Trump supporters have been figuring out the truth about me and my family, being in the, you know what I'm talking about. And I don't know what to do right now because everything's starting to come to light. I mean, these extremely reliable websites like 4chan, 8chan have been exposing shit. And it's like if somebody wrote it on the internet, it must be true. And it is true. So it's like, I don't know how this is going to affect our whole New World agenda. Ever since The Simpsons predicted my dad being the spokesperson for the coronavirus, even though they didn't predict anything, it's been troublesome, to say the least. I guess I'm just going to have to work extra hard at my human sacrifices. I'm late for one right now, and I'm a little hungry, so I might eat someone's pineal gland on the way. But just know that we're watching you, and if you're talking shit on the internet, you're going to be the first people sent to the FEMA camps. So